Good morning. Let's try that again. Everybody's still asleep. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Birmingham. Today we are celebrating the ancient pagan festival of Samhain. And next week we will follow up with our All Souls service. And so I invite you to bring a picture of anyone, any loved ones that you would like to honor in a frame, if possible, to next week's service. For those of you gathering with us online today, please grab an apple or other fruit or veggie from your fridge for our ritual later in the service. You will also want something to write with and on that can be ripped up. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. No matter who or what you are welcome here. Let's be clear, here we welcome goblins and ghouls, saints and sinners, angels and devils, zombies and werewolves, vampires and witches. We welcome princesses and princes, paupers and farmhands, aliens and astronauts, robots and cyborgs, firefighters, police officers, nurses and doctors, cowboys, cowgirls, cowfolk of all varieties. We welcome Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, Batman, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Thor. Indeed, we welcome both superheroes and superstars. In short, we welcome people, monsters, and all manner of creatures. Here, we welcome you and all of who or what you are. To all who are here this morning, welcome home.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. It just came on like magic. Okay, so we appreciate your attention to this morning's announcements. If you need assistance, the ushers are back in the back. 3 events are coming up next week for your attention. If you are a parent of a kindergartner through senior, we hope you'll attend our information meeting about our comprehensive sex education program starting in January. We'll meet after church next week on November 7th downstairs. Also next week on November 7th at 2 p.m., Charles Turner will be starting a monthly discussion on race and inclusion. He's hoping for an atmosphere of listening, learning, and loving as we tackle tough issues in our church and in society. I hope you can join us. Tuesday, November 4th from 6 to 8, 2 of our UUA Southern Region staff will host a discussion on covenant for anyone from our church who might be interested. Please watch your email for details or sign up on your connection card. And we also have a following special announcement from Courtney.
Good morning. I am in costume, just to be specific. I usually match a little better than this, but that's okay. We'll get to that later. I had a couple announcements. First of all, I wanted to take a moment to thank everyone who helped plan and make Friday's evening so successful, everyone that attended, all of the folks who set up trunk or treat booths. Anyone would like, let's see, I see some of our booth people here. So let's take a second to applaud everyone on a very successful fall festival. Super fun. And Donna and most of the RE committee, I believe, are at home recovering from their planning of the fall festival. So thanks, y'all. Hope you're watching. Secondly, Today is an intergenerational service, which means we will all be upstairs together to celebrate our worship. So we will be here for the whole service, kiddos. So it's going to be fun and exciting. And that's it, because there's also going to be a little thing in the middle for those of us who are in costume or planning on being costumed later. So that's my announcements.
As we kindle this flame, we honor and remember those who have passed into the mystery. Their brightness lives lives on in our vision, their courage lives on in our commitments, and their love continues to bless the world through us. In the spirit of inclusivity and welcome, please take a few moments to greet those around you, and especially if you don't recognize that person. And probably everyone doesn't recognize each other because we have masks on, but no, yes. So take a moment to chat. Please be seated for the opening words. Gather we now into this space, this time when the wheel turns and veil shatters. Gather we now to remember, to grieve, to prophesize, to complete our harvest before the long dark comes. Gather we now to tell the old stories and sing the old songs, to be as we've always been, the voice of our people eternal. Gather we now to celebrate that which was, that which is, and that which will be. Gather we now, as we have always done, united by story and bound by love. And I'd like to welcome Farah for a special announcement.
If you know me, you know I answer to most anything anyway. Blessed Lady, hallowed Lord, let me hear your holy word. When the veil is thin tonight, let me see the sacred sight.
Good morning. I'm Diane Tucker, a member of the board. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change the world for the better. If this is your first time with us, please pass the plate. We are just glad you are here. If you wish to join our church this morning, please come up during the offertory to sign the membership book. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Because this is the fifth Sunday, today's special collection will be toward our LGBTQ fund at church, in honor of LGBTQ plus History Month. We use our LGBTQ fund for promotion pins, pride expenses, rainbow flags, and other ways to be inclusive of this community. We appreciate your donations, either by placing them in the plate, mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal or Venmo. Our Venmo account is UUCBHAM, is at UUCBHAM. Please designate whether your offering is for UUCB or our LGBTQ fund. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and in hope.
This month is LGBTQ plus History Month, and as part of that, we have invited folks from our congregation who identify in these various ways to share a little bit of their journey and also give voice to someone of that community as well. And so as part of that, we have had more and more folks each week wanting to participate, which is always really exciting. And today we have three groups of folks, there are actually 4 folks sharing, who will be coming forward to share with you a little bit about their journey. So Artemis, would you please come forward?
Hi. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? I guess I'm holding it now. So I'm up here representing the A for asexuality. I figured this out when I was probably 14, but didn't come out until college. So that was like when I was 20. And basically, asexuality means that the person either lacks sexual attraction or is just very, very low to the point of non-existence. And the interesting thing with asexuality is it's a spectrum, and we separate romantic attraction and sexual attraction. So in my case, I'm still attracted romantically to men, but I just don't want to do the other part. So makes me a gay asexual. And so I have a quick little quote that I found, and basically this sums it up really good, in my opinion. If sex without love exists, why can't people understand that love without sex exists too? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Artemis. Amanda.
I think I'm short enough for this one. All right, guys. How's everyone doing? All right, we made it through another week, didn't we? All right, guys. So I'm up here representing the plus sign in the LGBTQ acronym. Because my identity doesn't fit in one of the letters, I kind of go with the plus sign because I'm kind of outside of it. And I'm still working on figuring out those pronouns. So I love this church because this is really one of the only public places that completely is accepting of those of us that are LGBTQ+. And that's really quite amazing. I mean, you can see it not only with our adults, but with our children, starting to experiment with their own genders and being safe enough and feeling safe enough that they can do that here. And that's really quite an amazing thing. And so I got a little quote from Reverend Chris Rothborough. His pronouns are they, them. We gathered together this morning because others came before us. Some have left examples for us to follow, others lessons for us to learn from, and the paradox is that many have left both pain and joy. We honor our ancestors this morning, not because they are perfect, but because without them we would not be here, together sharing our joy, our pain, our living, and our dying. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. And our third grouping is our newest newlyweds, Courtney and Erica.
Good morning. We're Erica and Courtney Howard Johnson, and we're representing the Q in LGBTQ+. I've known for about 20 years that I wasn't straight, but didn't really have the right vocabulary to describe myself more precisely until within the last 5 years or so. I like the word queer because it conveys the idea that I identify outside of what our society considers to be the norm without me having to either use one of the more well-known letters that doesn't really quite fit me or having to give people a vocabulary lesson on more specific terms they may not have heard before.
I love using this word because it lets people know that I'm part of the community, but it is ambiguous and I don't have to tell you exactly who I like or how I see my gender.
We use the word queer to describe our gender and sexuality. It is an amazing word that has many different meanings and uses.
It is also important to know that this term is complicated. Some may consider it an in-group word, a word that should only be used by people in that group. Some do not see it that way. Some may prefer using this word over the longer acronym LGBTQ+. They could just say queer community. That's what I do. This has a lot to do with age, geographical location, upbringing, and background because of the history of the word. Queer was originally used to mean strange or peculiar in the late 19th century. It was used pejoratively against those in same-sex relationships. But beginning in the 1980s, queer activists began to reclaim the word as a deliberately provocative and politically radical term in opposition to other members of the LGBT+ community who wanted more quietly assimilated into heteronormative culture.
Queer is a multifaceted word with many usages. Here are a few more detailed meanings of the word with a bit more information. You'll have to choose for yourself how best to use it. Queer is an umbrella term used to refer to all LGBTQ+ people. It is also a political statement as well as a sexuality which advocates breaking binary thinking and seeing both sexuality and gender identity as potentially fluid. It is a simple label to explain a complex set of sexual behaviors and desires. For example, a person who is attracted to multiple genders may identify as queer. To some, particularly many older LGBTQ+ people, it is a slur. Some people feel that the word has been hatefully used against them for too long and are reluctant to embrace it.
So, as always, remember to mirror the terminology that people use for themselves, particularly for a word such a complicated history. As for us, we are both proud to call ourselves queer. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have after the service because it is very complicated, but thank you. Thank you, Erica and Courtney. It has been amazing throughout this month to hear all of these different voices and identities and stories. And I can't summarize enough how brave it is to not only come and stand in front of your congregation and share these very intimate things about your life to celebrate this month, but also just, to get up here and do this takes so much courage and bravery. So, as celebrating the end of LGBTQ History Month, as this is today, if anyone identifies with this community in the LGBTQ+ world, would like to stand up, we would like to celebrate all of you this morning. So stand up or raise your hand if you'd like. We love you all. Thank you for being here. Now is that time in our community when we share our joys and sorrows, those things that we carry with us throughout the week, those things that require us to sometimes put masks on and act like everything's okay when maybe it isn't. So today I invite you to think of those things that are on your heart. For those of you online, I invite you at this time to share your joys and sorrows in the chat. We hope to hear all what's going on with you, and remember to hold one another with parenthesis around their names. For those of you in person today, in honor of Samhain, we are using the flame instead of the stones, and you are invited to come forward and light a candle in honor or in memory of what is on your heart today. Please come forward. light this candle for Katrina Mertz, who cannot be with us this morning, and for all of those unspoken requests and needs. Today we celebrate seeing Dick Segreto well and back from his bout with pneumonia, and we lift up Katrina Mertz, who is in need of our love today. Please take this moment to hear a spoken meditation followed by a moment of silence. We offer blessings for life and the end of life, blessings for the dying, blessings for the caregiver holding love and carrying burden. Blessed is the body, youth claimed by death, elder claimed by death. Blessed is all creation moving toward one ending in order to begin again. Let us bless the wake, the gathering, the gathered, Shiva, the food bought and cooked and delivered, whether eaten or not. Bless the toasts, the drinks crashing down throats, the drinks shared with the ground in remembered friendship. Blessed are the stories told with tears and with loud, loud, loud laughter. Bless the hair cut short or the hair grown long in mourning. Blessed is the black for mourning. Blessed is the white worn for mourning. Blessed is the body wrapped for grieving. Blessed is the showing of pain. Blessed is the celebration of life. Bless the ashes, bless the dust, bless the grave. Bless the grave digger. Bless the earth and the feel of it in the hands. Bless the stones on the grave, the flowers, the headstone, the monument. Bless the inscription. Bless the naming of the dead. Blessed are the memories. Bless those who feel hurt and hate, anger and sorrow, fear and confusion, compassion and love. Blessings to our knowings of death. May all be blessed. May all be held. Blessings on life's journey. Blessed be. Will our children please come forward?
Hello, everyone. I see lots of costumes today. Hello, Nora. Come on up. So, I love all the costumes today. I even see some grown-ups out here in costumes, too. Did you see the grown-ups that have costumes? Pretty cool, huh? So I'm wearing a costume today. Does anyone know who I am? Okay, does anyone know who I am who I haven't already told who I am? Yeah, see. Oh, wait. Did I tell you who I was, Lily? Who am I? What do you think, Royal? A goblin? A garden. I do look like a garden. It helps if I'm a character from a book or a movie. Does that help you? Oh, Damiana, what do you think? I am from Harry Potter. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Yes. And a female farmer. Yeah, we're getting there. Getting closer. All right, Skylar. Another Weasley. Does anyone? I'm Molly Weasley. Yeah, do we see it? No. No, okay, there we go, we see it. Okay, good. I was a little afraid that it was not coming through, but Molly Weasley. She's my favorite character from Harry Potter. Does anyone know who Molly Weasley is? She's the mom of the Weasleys, and I have a bunch of redheaded children at home. So, another Weasley. Yes, Emmett? A dishwasher? You can ask my children. I don't wash dishes. They do, but I don't. So I will not wear this at home if I look like a dishwasher. I'll remember that. But thank you. So, anywho, I love dressing up. Who here likes to dress up in costumes? Me. Oh, see? Even the grown-ups. You're a kitty. I see. We have some kitties. We have some Power Rangers. We have some dinosaurs. We have some police officers. We have some just really lovely children. We have a lot of costumes. And we have grown-ups, too. I see ears. I see tails. I see antlers. I see all sorts of things. But, so what are we all dressed up for today? Yes. Halloween. Is anyone going to dress up tonight and go out trick-or-treating? Yay! Already dressed up. So, did you know that costumes have a very long history? Dressing up for Halloween does? No, didn't know that. It's All Hallows Eve is another name for it. Yes, Royal? You learned the history of Halloween. What did you learn about at school? What did they tell you? Mm-hmm. It's an Irish tradition? Do you want me to help you? It's an Irish tradition from the Celts called Samhain. Does that sound right? Does that sound right? Okay, so let me help. So, thousands of years ago, the Celts had a holiday called Samhain, and we're kind of talking about that today, some. And that was in Ireland, like Royal said, but also in like United Kingdom and northern France and that area of over there. And November 1st was the New Year's Day for those folks. So this night, October 31st, was the last day of the New Year's. This marked the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter when things started to get dark and cold and people started to have less food and get nervous. But it was also when the Celts felt that the line between the living and the dead was the thinnest. So that's when their ancestors and the dead would come back. It was kind of blurred. Yes. Cool. So on the night of October 31st, it was believed that the ghosts would come back to the earthly world, and people thought that they would encounter these ghosts when they left their house, so they wore masks so that they wouldn't be recognized. They wore masks and costumes when they went out to the world, so they wouldn't mistakenly follow them home. That was one of the things that I read about. Does that sound about kind of what you learned in Royal? In a video? But anyway, so we've been dressing up in costumes as people for thousands of years. It's kind of morphed as we've gotten a little further away. Here in the United States, we kind of steered it away from scary, spooky, and more dressing up in fun costumes, kind of to move away from that. And now we trick or treat. Do you know you could technically trick people? You could go to their house, and if they didn't give you a treat, you could trick them. Don't do that. Not encouraging that. No. But that's a treat. An apple is a treat. It's a healthy treat, yes. Oh, the point of Halloween is to get a sugar rush. I did not read that in the history anywhere, Skylar. Yes, Emmett? Thank you, Emmett. Fruits are nature's candy. Very correct. I love this. But they're healthy, yes. Well, let me do this really quick. So who is dressing up in costumes tonight? Okay, so let's do a little Halloween, Samhain costume blessing. All right? Let me do this for you guys. Samhain is here. Cold is the earth as we celebrate the cycle of death and rebirth. Tonight we speak to those through the veil. The lines between the worlds are thin and frail. Ghosts and spirits in the night magical beings rising in fright, owls hooting up in a moonlit tree. I don't fear you, and you don't fear me. The sun goes down far in the west. My ancestors watch over me as I rest. They keep me safe without fear on the night of Samhain, the witches' new year. Be safe this night as you head out to see a very merry trick or treat. So be it. Blessed be. Now, we're going to do things a little different today. We're going to hum back to our seats because we're going to stay for the rest of the worship this morning. Yay! Yeah, that was definitely a yay! We're going to go back to our seats. Yes, please, thank you. Oh, here we go.
In honor of Samhain and Halloween, I'm wearing my black cat stole. It's hard to see its face on here, but you can see the tail goes into the chalice. Just so everyone knows. Got a black cat on my shoulders, just like at home. So today, in place of a sermon, we're going to be sharing a series of stories through different voices. So that's part of our service this morning, is just enjoying these stories that are somehow linked to Samhain together. So I hope you enjoy this time. Our first story was written by Starhawk. Starhawk is a UU pagan who writes lots of wonderful books for us and teaches us many things. Circle round, close your eyes, and imagine. It is late at night on Halloween, and you are very excited. All evening long, you've been out, dressed up in costumes, collecting candy and apples and other treats from the houses in your neighborhood. Now you are quiet. It is time to go to sleep, but you can feel the magic in the air. Do we have to go to sleep, you say? Tonight is a night for magic dreams, says the old ones. Set out an apple for Grandfather Deer, and maybe he will take you someplace. You choose your best apple and you set it out on the windowsill for Grandfather Deer. Then you lie down and close your eyes. Now the room is filled with an earthly animal smell. Open your eyes, and before you stands the glowing spirit of Grandfather Deer, the oldest and wisest stag in the forest, with many branching antlers that he wears proudly on his head. Hop on my back, and I will take you someplace, he says. You climb on his back, and you hold tight to his antlers. He moves so swiftly and smoothly, you feel like you are flying out of the house, over the tops of trees, out past the streets and the cars, out into the spirit world of swirling color. At last, you come to a sandy beach by the shore of a dark ocean. You are not afraid, even though you can't see much in the dark. Get down off my back, Grandfather Deer says. I cannot take you any farther. Now you must go on by boat. So you slide down off Grandfather Deer's back and thank him. A boat glides across the water, and you hear the crunch of sand under the keel as it approaches the beach. "Do you wish to ride in my boat?" says a voice. You can't see anyone, but you know the voice is magic because it sounds different to everyone who hears it. Some hear a woman's voice, and some hear a man's. Some hear a child or an animal or a bird. What do you hear? "Do you wish to visit the shining isle across the sunless sea?" the voice says. "Yes," you say. "Then you must pay me something." "But I don't have any money. I'm only a kid," you say, "and you left all your candy at home." "I like stories better than money or candy," says the voice. "Tell me a story about something you have done that was hard for you to do." What story do you tell? "Climb into the boat," the voice says. You climb aboard, and the boat slips away from the shore. It moves silently over the dark water. In the distance, something shines. Slowly, it grows bigger and brighter. You begin to smell something very sweet on the air, something that reminds you of fruit and flowers. Now you can see the shining thing is an island in the distance, and it grows bigger as you approach. On the shore are beautiful trees and flowers that shine with a light of their own. Who lives on that island, you ask? The beloved dead and the unborn, says the voice. Am I dead, you ask? No, tonight is Halloween, the only night of the year that the living can visit this island. The boat reaches the shore and the sand scrapes under its keel. Thank you, you say, jumping off and wading through shallow water to the shore. You step up onto the shore of a magic land that looks different to every person who comes here. You see the most beautiful place you imagine, just the sort of place that you like best, whether it's a valley or mountains or a beautiful garden or a beach or a warm house. Someone is there to greet you, an ancestor, someone who loves you very much. Who is it? Is it someone you know and miss and remember? Or someone you've never met before? Or is it someone you've met in a dream? You play for a long time, and at last, when you get hungry and thirsty and tired, an old woman appears. She is so old that her face is covered with wrinkles, but her eyes are so bright they glow like two big moons. At her feet is a big round iron pot, a cauldron, and she is stirring something in it with a big wooden spoon around and around. You go close to the cauldron and you look inside. At first it seems dark, but then you see thousands of little glowing lights. Around and around they swirl. Those are the souls of the dead, the old woman says, and they are also the souls of the unborn. In my cauldron, I brew them back to life. Would you like to taste my brew? She holds out her spoon and puts one drop of her brew on your tongue. It tastes like the best thing in the world you can imagine. Just one drop is enough. That's all you need. You look into her eyes again and realize she is the goddess. Remember this taste, she tells you, whenever you are afraid or have to do something hard. It will give you strength and courage. But now it is time to go. Sadly, you say goodbye to the goddess, to your ancestor, to everyone you have met here on the shining isle. You walk slowly back to shore. A whole year will pass until you can visit again, but you will remember your ancestor, and maybe in your dreams you will meet again. At the shore, the boat waits for you. You step inside and feel the scraping of the keel on the sand as it pushes off across the dark waters of the sunless sea. On the opposite shore, Grandfather Deer waits. He takes you back to your home. You swirl and fly back over the treetops and the streets to your own house again. You thank him as you slide down from his back and feed him his apple. Then you curl up to sleep, warm and safe in your own bed. Grant.
Death is a Door by Nancy Bird Turner. Death is only an old door set in a garden wall. On gentle hinges it gives at dusk when the thrushes call. Along the lintel are green leaves. Beyond, the light lies still. Very willing and weary feet go over that sill. There is nothing to trouble any heart, nothing to hurt at all. Death is only a quiet door in an old wall. Autumn Chant by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Now the autumn shudders in the rose's root. Far and wide the ladders lean among the fruit. Now the autumn clambers up the trestled frame, and the rose remembers the dust from which it came. Brighter than the blossom on the rose's bough sits the wizened orange. Bitter berried now, beauty never slumbers. All is in her name. But the rose remembers the dust from which it came.
The Last Leaf, written by David M. Horst, a Unitarian minister. Once, many gray autumns ago, I came upon a tree. The tree, a poplar, had dropped all of its leaves but for one, just one. Exactly one leaf remained near the topmost part of the tree, fluttering in the breeze like a little reddish-brown flag. All of the other leaves lay about the ground or had blown away. I stopped and looked and marveled at the sight. I wondered what the odds might be that I was the one person who happened to arrive at that one tree at that one moment when but one leaf remained. What were the odds? I felt an instant kinship with the one leaf. I admired its stubbornness. I spoke quietly to it. Hang on. Don't give up. Don't let go. I gazed at the last leaf for a time, though I did not stay to witness its falling. I did not want to witness its falling. The leaf was not ready to let go and dropped silently to the ground, and neither was I, though I knew we both would, in time, let go. I praised the last leaf on that autumn day many years ago, when I was still young. I walked on, and slowly, imperceptibly, a sense of calm came over me, a sense of acceptance, a sense of peace. The exuberance of summer is gone. Grand plans and high hopes give way to chilly reality. We loved as best we could. We've reaped as much as we could. We've traveled life's journey as far as we could. We count our blessings and our losses. All leaves must fall. The circle of the year comes round. Our hemisphere tilts away from the sun. Green turns to gold. Life returns to the soil. Animals retreat. The nights grow long. The natural world lies fallow. The season of letting go comes, as it always comes. Winter begins.
This is called The Purpose, written by me. We're here to celebrate Samhain, the end of summer. As we move deeper into the dark half of the year, our Mother Earth will begin to decay, feed upon herself, and rest. We honor the dark aspects of all that is divine and the dark parts of all that is Akasha, that is spirit, and in doing so, we honor the dark halves of ourselves and each other. Today, when the veil between the worlds is its thinnest, our purpose is also to connect with our ancestors and friends that have gone on before us, as life is an unending circle of birth, death, and rebirth. We have lifted the veil that our loved ones and friends in the other world may know that we have not forgotten them. This day we wait, we watch, and we listen for them because we know they have not forgotten us.
Thank you to all who have participated in our story sharing. Now we move on to our Samhain ritual. Ushers, if you would please gather the apples and be ready. We'll have some brief moments of thinking, and then we will do something together. We have come together at this most sacred time of year when life and death stand in the balance in their endless dance. Let us take one moment to think about what is in balance in our lives. And to balance that out, let us dwell for a moment on what could be more balanced than it has been lately. Ushers, if you will begin to pass around the apples. Now, this ritual was not developed during COVID, so I invite you to participate as you feel comfortable. You can certainly take your apple slice home with you, do this outside, etc. But we will try to do this as safely as possible, and those of you online, please gather your fruit as well. As a symbol of the bountiful harvest that each year brings our hearts, I invite you, when you get your apple, to take a deep bite, but don't swallow yet. Bill, I think there's another bowl, if you wouldn't mind starting it back from the back. In the kitchen, maybe? I think there were 3. Gil, if there's an extra, can you bring one to me, please? Win, whoever. Thank you. This is a family gathering and a family ritual. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, well, I'll get that later. So those of you who want to, you have taken your bite, you are holding it in your mouth. Hold that bite in your mouth. Consider its perilous position. Just a moment ago, it was safely a part of a whole fruit, and it had known nothing different. Now, it stands on the cusp of falling into a pit of boiling acid, that is your stomach, and through that pit, the molecules within it will make this apple become part of us. There is literally no difference between us and this apple bite. Only time separates us. We are just the same. Okay, now you can swallow after you've chewed. Don't swallow it whole. And hold on tight. Like the apple bite, we are always leaving something behind. Or maybe we'd like to leave something behind, but we haven't found a way to do so yet. So in your order of service, you have a piece of colored paper that's not the church's new numbers. That's important, take that home. But it's an autumn colored piece of paper. And if you still need one, raise your hand and we'll make sure you get one. We are pretending that it is a leaf, because despite my very diligent effort the last couple of weeks, I could not find paper cutout leaves anywhere. So you're pretending that this is a leaf, and you're going to write down on it things that you want to leave behind, okay? What do you want to leave behind this fall as we pass into winter? What you write will stay between you and the universe, the God, the goddess, whomever makes sense for you. Take a moment and write down what you are leaving behind. When you are finished writing, I invite you to come forward and mulch your leaves into the cauldron. So rip them up or fold them in half or whatever makes sense for you. But bring whatever you need to leave behind to the cauldron and leave it there. It was amazing to watch as many of you mulched your leaves, how there was a spring in your step as you walked away. I hope you will carry that moment with you from this place and leave these things truly where they belong, in this cauldron. There's a final piece of this harvest ritual we're going to perform, so I want you to, if you have a seed in your apple, dig it out. If you don't, pretend to dig it out. But we're going to think about that seed for a moment. We're going to do something called raising power to consecrate these seeds with our life energy and store the strength of this year to begin the next. So we're going to do a simple open vowel sound chant like this. Aum. Everyone join me. Aum. Again. Aum. One more time. Aum. For those of you who are joining me in this next part, say this loudly. Now, raise power that these seeds will rest, containing within the fruit as the fruit contained them. Never ending is the cycle. Ever blessed is the way. Now everyone put out your left hand and your right hand, if you have the seed with you. Guard well this seed. Fertilize it with your wishes, hopes, and truths, so that in spring planted, these seeds will thrive and grow. Protect and preserve this seed that it will protect you, and let go. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.
Please rise in body or spirit for extinguishing our chalice and remain standing through the benediction. Even as the days grow shorter and our homes shrink smaller and our wicks burn lower and our will to endure flickers and our chalice, a kindled flame of warmth, is a reminder of the connection that draws us in to a community that opens us up in gratitude for the breath in our lungs and the love in our hearts, for the gift of this day, alive.
As the veil thins tonight, we invite you to think of your ancestors, to celebrate with that, and to do it with some sugar if you wish. Go in peace.